On to the details now. The Public Accounts Committee of Parliament, PAC, has threatened to charge any individual who appears before it and provides false information for perjury. It said the committee was not a circus to entertain people, but a serious organ of Parliament determined to ensure accountability and the judicious use of the country's finances. The PAC issued the warning after the chief accountant at the Lands Registration Division of the Lands Commission, Martin Ayamga, who appeared before it yesterday, made some statements which were found to be false. The Commission had failed to submit its 2010 and 2011 reports to the Auditor General for scrutiny as demanded by law. And when its officials appeared before the PAC, the chairman, Kwekwa Menu, the MP for Doma Central, sought to know why the Commission had failed to do so. In his answer, Mr. Ayamga stated that the report had been submitted to the relevant organizations at the required time. But a Deputy Auditor General in charge of Commercial Audit, Roberta Esiama Apia, and another Deputy, Yausifa, proved that the reports were released to the Auditor General only this year and that Ayamga's statement was false. Now, courts within the Supreme Court building and the fast-track High Court area will not sit tomorrow, August 29, 2013. The day is set aside for the delivery of judgment in the presidential election petition. According to the management of the Judicial Service, the decision formed part of security measures instituted to ensure that security on the court premises and inside the courtroom was not compromised in any way. The affected courts include the civil and criminal divisions of the Court of Appeal, some high courts, offices of judicial staff, fast-track High Court 1 to 6, and the Commercial Court. In effect, non-accredited staff of the Judicial Service and members of the public will not be allowed within the inner and outer perimeters of the Supreme Court. 32,000 police personnel will be deployed on Thursday, tomorrow, to maintain law and order as the Supreme Court gives its landmark ruling on the election petition. Now, two major roads, the John Evans at Mills High Street and the Thorpe Road at the entrance of the Bank of Ghana, will also be closed to traffic to prevent supporters and sympathizers from the two major political parties from converging there. Now, the move, according to the Director of Public Affairs at the Ghana Police, DSP Cephas Arthur, is to forestall any form of violence.
DSP Cephas Arthur first explained the preparedness of the police towards Thursday ruling.
About 32,000 police officers will be on duty. Those that will be deployed for special operations, those that will be standing by to respond to emergency situation, to respond to crowd disorders or mass disorders should we record such events. Those that will be deployed to manage traffic in case of jubilation, over jubilation, people, spontaneous public events that have not been planned for are all in place. And they are all contained within this 32 or about 32,000 personnel.
Security, he indicated, had also been provided for all major players in the court hearing.
Nana Ekufuado and his lawyers, Dr. Baumia, the chairman of the MPP, the chairman of the NDC, the president and his lawyers, Dr. Kujua Ferijan and his lawyers, the judges in the panel have all been taken care of to ensure that their security is safeguarded, is assured.
The police PRO also spoke about the road closures and diversions.
We are going to have roadblocks at the John Evans Atamis Highway between the Cocoa Affairs and Court Junction and the Barclays Bank headquarters. The Thorpe Road at the Bank of Ghana entrance. traffic from the Independence Square would be diverted onto the Liberia and Secretariat roads. Then 2, traffic emanating from Jamestown will be diverted onto the Bank Lane at the Stanchart headquarters, and subsequently onto the Pagan and Asafwacheneti roads. So these are the diversions.
Ghanaians are meanwhile being advised to maintain the peace before enacting the verdict.
Now, related to that, the people of Ningo in the Pram district have celebrated this year's Homowo festival with a caution from the acting chief against celebrations of the Supreme Court verdict. Nene Atiapa II says residents who engage in wild jubilation after the ruling on Thursday risk arrest.
We don't want anybody from Ningo, neither home and or abroad, to jubilate when the judgment was being given. If anybody jubilate will be arrested, will like the police to be arrested, and then the Trasaka also will deal with them drastically. As Ningo, we have a different people, different parties. Those who join different parties, and then you will jubilate to some way that somebody will be annoyed. We don't want anybody to jubilate. We want them to, everybody to stay indoor. Not that nobody will travel anywhere, we don't care, but keep quiet, you don't talk. Okay. We have set a men all around on Thursday to go around the town. Anybody that they will see you, that they will report you to the police to be arrested.
Nene Atiapa II told hundreds of youth who witnessed the celebration to also protect themselves during sex to prevent unwanted pregnancies and STDs. He also asked them to stop assaulting their spouses, a phenomenon he says has become rampant in the town. He informed the community about plans to establish an airport in the area and urged them to pursue education to be able to optimize the opportunities that the project may offer.
Some of them, when they married, they don't care for their children nor their wives. And then when a wife did anything, they just beat them unnecessary beatings. And I'm advising them to put their children to school. They should care for the children to university level. Some of them, when you go to the seaside, you see the children working at the seaside doing particularly nothing. The year mark for the international airport is 8,000 acres. But now the government is taking 16,000. We have agreed to give the land because it's a year mark for the whole country. And we hope very soon they will start because we are willing for the project to take off.
Under his leadership last year, Ningo refused to fall under a district created by government in nearby Pram. Nene Atiapa II said their decision last year on the creation of the district has not changed because Ningo deserves its own district. Nene Atiapa sprinkled purple in the town amidst declaration of blessings for the coming year. August marks the beginning of a year on the Ga traditional calendar. Giftiando Apia, Joy News, Ningo. A joint police-military task force has raided a small-scale mining site at Esuoso, a farming community near Takwa in the Takwa-Nsuayem municipality of the Western region. Machines and equipment belonging to the miners are said to have been destroyed in the raid. Some of the small-scale miners are, however, alleging that some of their colleagues were allowed to continue operating after monies were extorted from some of them.
A visit to the site by Joy News a day after the operation saw many of the small-scale miners busily working on their machines, while some immediately took to their heels at the site of the news team. Joy News investigations revealed that the small-scale miners who claim their activities were legal but failed to produce any document to back their claims said they acquired the land from one Homowo, based in Tema, who they believe acquired the land from a chief and elders of that community whose identities were not revealed. The total concession has been divided among the miners who have diverted the course of the Bonsa River through their activities. Close to the site is a forest reserve. Some of the small-scale miners who witnessed the operation said the team numbering over 30, stormed the site, set ablaze most of the Chang fan machines and boats being used for the alluvial mining, while the owner of the excavator machine, working on a separate concession, was made to pay some money to the team leader to avoid destruction of his excavator in the company of the assemblyman for Isuoso. But the allegation was later debunked by the assemblyman in an interview.
Soldiers for no from be 30, car 3, police for be 15. To mobile no now. On be do site. To be doing like student home, and I'm beside excavator near Wandia. And I'm confess excavator on the buy. And to buy no on be 5 million, almost scan desk on machine. And to buy no the Henry Miller Bamuso Munji. And I must have got a phrase, I'm first careful, but the money fit up by the yet meeting amount, But I had through Mahamudi concession, about 3 years in Yajuma. But machines in auto and animal Momoshi machines.
He admitted to an operation taking place but denied having any knowledge of extortion. He further challenged the aggrieved miners to produce documents backing their legality, insisting their activities were illegal since they are working in a forest reserve.
Some angry NDC youth at Boko in the Upper East region have been protesting against the president's latest nominee for Boko MCE. But for the timely intervention of the police, a lot of property would have been destroyed. The angry youth claimed Amadou Karimu was a member of the NPP who joined the NDC about a year ago and so has not worked hard enough for the party to deserve the appointment as Boko Municipal Chief Executive. The youth, who took to the streets of the town, destroyed pictures of President Mahama to register their disagreement. They later delivered a statement at the news conference. Ramani Osman spoke on behalf of the group.
resulting to development. Yes. The nominee, the person, does not have a sense of direction.
The Savannah Accelerated Development Authority will soon start a program on sustainable housing initiative. Chief Executive Alhaji Gilbert Idi, who announced this, said the program is intended to empower youth from the Savannah Ecological Zone to go into construction as entrepreneurs with the use of local building materials in collaboration with the various district assemblies. He made the announcement at an interministerial meeting on Sada in Wa. Here is a report by Rafiq Salam.
The interministerial meeting on the Savannah Accelerated Development Authority is the second to be organized in 3 months to give the 5 regional ministers located in the Savannah Ecological Zone an opportunity to engage the SADA team on best way forward for the authority. Northern Regional Minister Bidziding, Upper East Regional Minister Limuna Mohamed Muniru, Deputy Regional Minister for Bonafo Region Justice Samuel Ejay, Deputy Minister for Volta Region Francis K. Ganyaglo, and Upper West Regional Minister, who also doubles as the chairman of the meeting, were present. They were also joined by Minister of State in charge of Development Authorities, Dr. Mustafa Ahmed. The Upper West Regional Minister, Dr. Avianso, was hopeful despite the challenges the authorities bedeviled with, it will achieve its intended purpose.
We have a green zone, we have poverty either fully eliminated or reduced to a level that is either better or par with our colleagues in the south, in a manner that poverty would not be at the level that it is here in the SADA zone, comprising the 3 regions.
The Chief Executive Officer of the SADA, Alhaji Gilbert Idi, said many people in the country are ignorant, hence their assertion that SADA is a complete failure.
There are people who think that once SADA has come, SADA is going to roll out white-collar jobs for people, and those white-collar jobs are not coming. And there's a lot of frustration being expressed as a result of all this kind of misinformation. It is our hope that with these interactions with these civil society organizations, we should be able to put SADA in its perspective about what SADA is expected to do and how SADA is doing it.
Alhaji Idi outlined some of the programs they will be rolling out soon.
We are also coming up with a sustainable housing initiative where we have brought in hydrophone block molding machines. At the last board of directors meeting, specific guidance has been given about how to turn out the implementation of this sustainable housing initiative intervention in order to be able to empower youth from the SADA zone, gangs of youth as entrepreneurs to go into housing construction using local building material in collaboration with the district assemblies.
The Minister of State in charge of Development Authority, Dr. Mustafa Ahmed, also expanded on some of the programs the authority will be undertaking. Rafiq Salam's report from WA.
Vice-Chancellor of the University of Ghana, Professor Ernest Daite, has assured students of the various public universities that the institutions would not be shut down due to the strike by lecturers. Public university students are stranded on their campuses as the deadline for the closure of their schools near. University lecturers have been on strike for several weeks in demand for the payment of their book and research allowances. Per the status of the various public universities, an academic year without academic work for 21 continuous days calls for the closure of the school and dissolution of the calendar. Ghana will introduce for the first time ever a combination vaccine against rubella and measles in a nationwide campaign next month to contain a recent outbreak of rubella in the northern region. According to the National Immunization Program, the nationwide vaccination program will be targeted at children aged between 9 months and 14 years.
Country has for some years now had structured regular mass measles campaigns to prevent outbreak of the killer disease. The emergence of rubella in recent times has, however, prompted the latest intervention to piggyback on the long-standing measles vaccination campaign. This, the National Immunization Program Manager, Dr. Kwejode Eji says, has informed the 11th to 20th September campaign, which will be conducted throughout the country. He explains the introduction of the combination vaccine is to ensure that a larger number of children will be vaccinated within a short period.
We used to give measles alone, but now it will be replaced with measles rubella vaccine, so that with the same injection, you now get protection against 2 diseases instead of formerly 1. People are traveling everywhere. It doesn't mean it's in Tamale and will remain there. He can go to any part. People are also going to Tamale. They are going everywhere. So it's done for the whole country.
This strategy, he says, has helped in reducing the number of cases, adding that no child has died from measles in Ghana in the last 10 years.
It's the patronage of the vaccine. I mean, when children go for the vaccination, then they get protected, and then we prevent the disease, and then we reduce deaths. So our advice is not house to house, it's static. So they should visit the nearest vaccination center from the 11th to the 20th.
He acknowledged the diverse contributions of all health development partners, traditional leaders, as well as the mass media, and asked for their continuing support and collaboration to ensure the total eradication of measles rubella in the country.
That's it for the AM News. Our top stories this morning. The police and judicial service say all is set for the hearing of the ruling on the 2012 election petition, which comes off tomorrow. Public Accounts Committee issues a final warning to lying officials, saying the next person to do so could face charges of perjury. And SADA says it may soon start a program on sustainable housing. My name is Gifty. I'm up here. Up next is the AM Sports with Rashida Baba Kadiri. Have a good morning.